Hey everyone, sorry I've been a little lax on my weekly readings. Things have been chaotic. It's a chaotic May for me. Um, I pulled cards for the collective right now. Not gonna lie, this kind of feels like it's a reading for me. But my objective was the collective, so I'm just gonna ask Spirit later if it's also for me. But that being said, I'm feeling called to talk about a little bit of what's going on with me also in case some of you are going through the same thing. I'm not talking specifics, just like the intuitive feelings. So my divine masculine is withdrawn right now. He's dealing with some stuff. Being an avoidant, it's not a surprise that he withdraws when he's stressed. If you have a divine masculine who's an avoidant attachment, this is your PSA. They're going to withdraw every time they're stressed. It's like a universal thing across all avoidance, okay? I just call them avoidance at this point. And almost all divine masculines have avoidant attachment disorder too. Um, so learning and understanding avoidant attachment helps you learn a lot about the psychology of your divine masculine and how they function the way that they do, okay? And it also teaches you not to take things personally because it's not personal at all. It's just how they function because of how they grew up and their traumas, which are usually significant. So yeah. So anyway, my divine masculine is very withdrawn right now. He's super stressed. He told me himself he's super stressed, but he's not telling me why. And the more I ask questions, the more he doesn't answer and doesn't tell me. So I'm used to this. I know how to deal with it, how to handle him. But I'm worried about him right now because I know he's so stressed. And so what came out is confession, communicate, um, guardian, like angelic guardian or loved one, and intuition. And then intimacy and sexuality, and honeymoon and commitment. And also, oh my gosh, the past few days it has felt like his 4D higher self has been just reaching out to my spirit, my energy for comforting and for like just healing energy. And that's what I get from this. I get trust your intuition, know that, they're being watched over, they're being taken care of, everything's okay on the spirit side of things. They're gonna confess and let you know what's going on at some point. And when they do, you're gonna reconnect, things are gonna be intimate, and they're gonna start voicing their commitment to you as well. So this is all super positive. I don't even have to get into the cards deeply, but if that's what you're going through, that's what Spirit says about it. Okay, let's keep going. This could be connected to the same reading I just did, or it could be a brand new one. Once again, listen to your intuition. Okay, this can be twofold. This time, for this particular reading, this could be simply just like trust your intuition in general about like what's going on with your twin and overall, because we're all part of your twin flame journey is learning how to use your gifts, your own spiritual gifts, because everybody is going through a spiritual awakening and being activated. And if you're ascending, which twin flames are ascending, then you're going through a Kundalini awakening too. So your gifts are opening up. So you're learning how to use your intuition, connect to it, and Spirit saying trust it. But this particular card also says the red flags you ignore now will come back to bite you later. I don't think that applies every time this card is pulled because to me it's about just listening to your intuition. That doesn't have to mean there's red flags. But in this case, next card is someone else is trying to get in the way, is trying to sabotage your connection. So if you have an intuitive feeling that a karmic of some type, it doesn't have to be romantic. I know majority are romantic, but it doesn't have to be. Like my dad is a karmic for me, and he's obviously not romantic. We have these karmic cycles with all types of people, like soul family relationships going back into our past lives. So it can be anyone, okay? And I've even seen spiritual warfare cases where the dark will use someone totally random as well. Like I've seen like a coworker or like a acquaintance or something like become overcome by the dark forces and do something to a divine masculine. So you would be surprised. But anyway, if you have an intuitive nudge that there's somebody causing issues, then trust your intuition, look into it because you can do things and take steps to prevent that, protect from it, make sure you and your divine masculine are protected. But it doesn't, let's just remember that it doesn't have to be. Like, just overall trust your intuition. Water sign could be you, your twin, or the karmic person. Or this could be about the season of when this will happen. In the next part, don't worry. I can't pick up the cards. Don't worry. They will be back, and you'll be moving in together as well. So maybe you're going to move in during a water season, but you will be moving in. They'll be back. And right now, Spirit just wants you to focus on manifesting the positive. I am going to say, since there is someone who may be trying to cause trouble, as somebody who has defeated a massive amount of spiritual warfare in my personal journey and for clients, do your due diligence and look into it, because you should take steps if necessary. But focus on the positives. We're still in new moon energy. You can keep manifesting right now. Last reading with this deck that, again, it could connect to the first two, but it doesn't necessarily. This time we have the water sign and the fire sign. So again, this could be one of the people involved, or it could be the season of the year. This one does connect to the last one to me in terms of there's challenges, and the last reading talked about somebody trying to interfere who is apparently a gold digger. Or maybe not, it might not necessarily be about finances. It could just be about trying to use, control, manipulate in general, which this is not really a surprise when it comes to karmic partners, right? Like, they generally tend to be like that. But there are still challenges presented due to this situation. And, I also think there can be challenges from other stuff as well. It doesn't have to be the karmic situation itself. Life, the earth school can be so difficult sometimes. Like, I was super frustrated with it earlier in the week, just feeling frustrated with life on earth and how difficult it is at times, how stressful it is at times. So right now, I feel like a lot of us, and the divine masculines especially, are just going through a period of challenges. And it makes sense with the astrology that's been going on and is moving forward that these are cycles that are closing out. There are major karmic cycles that have been activated to close permanently. That was one of the big themes in March with the shift into the lunar new year, the year of the horse. And also with the astrological changes just this month with the new moon. So it's I'm seeing many karmic cycles that are coming to climactic points, you could say. I remember learning about this in school about how books work and writing stories. The story, I remember seeing a chart. It's gonna be backwards on the camera, but it goes up and up and up until it reaches a climactic point and then drops off, and then you have the happy ending or whatever. And that's what it feels like to me. It feels like these karmic cycles are reaching that climactic turning point so that they can come to completion the way that they're meant to. It's like we've been going around in these cycles the last few years or longer, that Spirit has been testing us and seeing if we're ready and preparing us, and it's all coming to fruition. It's all coming to a head. Let go, trust the process. Don't let yourself get overly stressed about it, okay? It's natural to be worried about your twin or stressed, but try to stay. My own higher self interrupted my spirit chat to tell me the other day, not to stay in lower frequencies, to limit that time. So let go, trust the process. Know Spirit has everything under control, and they'll be back and ready to commit when they are. So trust it. New deck, but this reading feels completely connected to the first three. So first of all, validation that there may be some distance between you and your twin flame right now. I hope you guys all realize that that's normal, and you're going to have ebbs and flows with that. The message here right now, though, is that from one perspective, it's okay. It's just allowing for perspective and insights to be discovered through inner self-reflection, self-awareness, just reviewing the past. Sometimes those periods of solitude are important for that inner self-reflection, for thinking the lessons through, you could say, coming to important realizations. I actually just read earlier that this week is important for clarity coming in. So that this is important for clarity coming in. On the flip side, what started the distance is the stress right now. Remember, we've been talking about this. So your twin right now, they feel stuck. They feel tied up. This does not, though, to me, I mean, I know that there are karmic situations where the karmics literally have the twins like stuck. But this reading feels to me like it's about the connections that are further along, that are very close to union. This to me, like it feels like a temporary period in time, temporary circumstances, just like life is just like pulling on us in all directions, us and our twins, and making us feel a little tied up right now. And like it's hard to break free from all the obligations and the stress and the responsibilities to be able to do what we want to do. But this is temporary, and that's actually an important message with this card, that the sword is right there for them to grab and cut themselves free. But what strikes me is that this card and this card are so similar with how they're like turned into themselves. Like they're like both in the fetal position, turned into themselves, ignoring the outside world, and yet the meanings of the cards are completely opposite. And I want to talk about that for a second. So with this one, this is all about the stress. The stress is what caused the going within for the divine masculine, and maybe for you too, because I've been feeling stressed also. But Spirit wants us to shift our mindset and shift our inner state to what this means. So let's talk about what this means. I actually want to read it. There's a bunch of these cards that all look the same, so I always look it up to remind myself what means what. And I need to read this. I need to read this to you. It says, so she has been, she's in a state of inner peace and has been transformed into a meditative state in which all distractions are removed. The numbers on the clock are floating away because the recording of passing time is temporarily on hold. She's at one with the universe. All worries, concerns, and negativity fade. In this captured moment of escape, there is only stillness and peace. Well, what's, another version of stillness and peace? Well, I should say stillness, is that distance, right? That distance provides the isolation, provides the introspection for what is needed to work our mind through the stress and the overthinking and arrive at a place of inner peace and stillness. So they're two sides of the same coin. It's just how you're approaching it mentally. Stress might cause withdrawal and going into that period of solitude, but if you are able to control your thoughts and emotions and not let yourself, overreact, and allow yourself to peacefully like detach from the emotional aspects and the drama and the stress, and actually let's talk about the next card, and focus on the clarity from the lessons. This woman is reviewing the past in her mind, basically. It can contribute to both of these. I can't pick them up. It can contribute to both of these. When reflecting on negative memories, it might add to stress and feeling like I took risks that led to consequences that I'm dealing with. And that, requires clarity of the lessons learned from that in order to make changes and move in the right direction. I know there are masculines going through that. They're processing bad decisions that they made, because this is about making choices and taking risks and the consequences of that, good or bad. So again, just like we have the dual meanings here, and we live in a dual reality, just like we have the dual meanings here, some of these masculines are reflecting on their bad choices and where it led them, and what they have needed to do or need to still do in order to fix those consequences that they've been dealing with. And then there's also going to be reflection on the good memories and the good choices and the good risks, and evaluating what good risks can they take now that will lead them to finding that inner peace that they're searching for, to getting out of this state of feeling stuck and overwhelmed, to being able to grab the sword and cut off those restrictions, break those chains essentially, and restore their inner peace to be able to move forward in all the right ways. So I feel like That's what everyone's going through. And it makes sense with the astrology also. What I was just talking about March to now, of what's happening with entering the year of the fire horse, and the shifts in the astrological transits. It's all the exact same thing. So we're all pretty much, to more or less degrees, and those degrees are going to depend on how much you need to learn at this stage, really. But we're all going through the same thing, having something come up. I can't find the card. Having something come up that's triggering some isolation and withdrawal as we are mentally working through, what's happened, what is happening, what we want to happen. And ultimately, Spirit is trying to help us gain the clarity that we need, and find that inner peace that is where we really are supposed to function from. And this is directly connected to all the inner union videos that I've recently posted. So yeah, I this is our divine masculines, but it's us too. Like, I know I've been going through it, and I'm sure I'm not the only divine feminine, but it's going to be lesser degrees. Like, the divine masculines, I think, are feeling it heavier. Now, what Spirit wants you to know, feminines, remember in the previous reading, we had that letting go card. Here it is again. Let go, trust the process. But I got to read this one too. Truly loving another means letting go of all expectations. It means full acceptance, even celebration of another's personhood. And that's actually something I channeled the other day that I'm going to do a video about, hopefully later this week. What I channeled is probably going to end up being a blog post because it's kind of long. So, but I want to record about that later in the week. And it's that similar message of what the lesson of divine love on a twin flame journey is about: truly loving someone for who they are and not trying to make them be what you want them to be, or make them behave how you want them to behave. And that's really important to learn here. I'm not going to dive into that right now, but the other thing that I love about this card, you see how, can you tell that the butterfly, she's opened the cage doors and the butterfly is flying out. And you know how there's that expression about the more you chase a butterfly, the less likely you are to catch it. But if you just stand still, it's more likely to come and land on you, something along those lines. It's the same thing here. The more you chase your twin, or try and get them to do what you want, or get them to talk to you, or get them to act how you want, the more they're going to run from you. Especially an avoidant, they're going to withdraw, they're going to pull away. So just trust that what's meant for you will come to you, and you can't lose what's meant for you either. That's one of the biggest things about the twin flame journey. This is meant for us, and we can't lose it. So trust the process, and trust that it's happening in divine alignment and divine timing the way that it's meant to. Okay? And work on, the letting go is also part of that inner union state. Work on that inner union state and just loving them for who they are, not trying to make them into something else that is more about healing your own wounds than it is about accepting them for who they are. Lastly, Spirit wants you to focus on being productive right now. You can be productive in your own life, with your work, life purpose, etc., etc. I have to say though, for some reason, this time, this card, do you see how she's manipulating strings of light? This feels like alchemy to me. The word alchemy came to me. So focus on your spiritual alchemy manifestation skills also, and trust that union is coming. Here's the union card. It's going to come together. Trust Spirit to get you there.